Tripp was your typical all-American boy that was just full of life, full of energy. All he wanted to do was get up and play and be outside. You know, he had a nice little, like, kind streak to him too. You know, we would always ask him to do something and he'd be like, no, you know, and all we had to do was be like, do a little pouty face, and he would run over and give you a hug or something. So it just kind of showed the person that he really was.
He had the best, Yeah, he just had the best smile, and he smiled all the time. Me and Bill are very, happy people. People always talk about us smiling, especially Bill, and it's just, he never met a stranger. He just smiled all the time, whether he was sleeping or he was extremely very happy child. And that's what we want to see more than anything, is for that smile to come back. And at first when they called, they just said that he got hurt at daycare. So I was like, well, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And I even told the girls at work, I'm like, okay, well, I have to run to daycare, but I'll be back, in just a little while. So as I'm driving, I get another phone call, and they say it's a little more serious, that he's being taken to the hospital in Winder. So I'm like, okay, I'm still thinking broken arm, broken leg. So I get a little closer. And they tell me that they're flying him to Eggleston, the hospital in Atlanta. And then you realize how bad it is. I'm like, they're not going to fly a child to Eggleston, if it's something minor. So I called Bill, and I called my mom. And we all met at the Winder Hospital. And he actually looked perfect. He didn't have any scrapes or scratches. He wasn't bleeding. He was just unconscious, laying there. So he looked perfect. So it still took a while for us to realize how severe that his injuries were. And that's when they told us they didn't know if he would live or die. And that was just horrible, that not knowing if your perfect little son was going to make it. But as we know, he made it through surgery. And it was touch and go for a while. Then they finally got him stabilized about the 4th day. And then the 5th day, things just went bad. And they came and told us that we needed to say goodbye, that he wasn't going to make it after all. And we talk about that was probably worse than the initial accident, to think that he had made it and then he wasn't.
Sunshine and Rainy Day is a charity that does room makeovers for kids with long-term illnesses. So we'll do anything from simple painting a room and just kind of sprucing it up to the Tripp Halstead project, where it's a total home renovation.
Sunshine and Rainy Day reached out to us while we were still in the hospital with Tripp. One day they sent us a message that said, kind of explained what they did, and that they did dream room makeovers for kids with long-term illness or handicaps. And she said, we'd like to do a room for Tripp. And I had just done Tripp's room at our old house, and we didn't really know what was happening at that point. So I just basically told her, no, thank you. I didn't really need any help or want anything like that.
As time went on, and Tripp was still in the hospital, they realized he was going to be in a wheelchair, and they had to make a lot of changes in their own lives by having to sell their home because all the bedrooms were upstairs. And so they ended up buying a foreclosed home, which needed a lot of work to it. And they actually thought that they were going to do it themselves. And we said, absolutely not. I think with our resources and the people that we know, along with the huge support system that they have, we would be able to really help them with their home and pull everybody together.
We had absolutely no idea that getting involved with them would lead to the work that they were able to see through get completed here.
It's a new beginning. This is our home now, and everything is made for him, and he's the most important thing, in our lives. And it's such a blessing to have it and to be so functional and so comfortable at the same time. I know this is going to be our home forever. It's everything that we need, whether Tripp stays in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, we know this house is perfect for that. And if he doesn't, if he is able to start to crawl and start to walk, it's still perfect for that. And he'll be happy even if he doesn't make one more step from the way he is today. But in our future, we see him making a recovery and just enjoying, his friends, his family, all in this home forever.
There's been so many amazing companies that have helped us with not only the Halstead makeover, but also with our other makeovers. But Mohawk has been obviously great. This was a lot bigger of a house than I think people saw from the outside. So, them coming in here saved us a huge cost on giving flooring, but not just doing the flooring. I mean, they let us pick the right flooring that we wanted to make this house look good and be perfect for a Tripp in the wheelchair. And then we also had another great company, Ideal Interiors, who's owned by Frank and Kathy Dominowski, and they allowed one of their general contractors, Danny Phillips, to come in and leave his paying job and spend a lot of time out here helping us facilitate all of the companies together to get this project done on a timely basis and at the high standard of quality that we expected.